The reckoning 6 months after the Supremacy Court's decision, the first signs appeared. Trade routes near Earth's system began reporting anomalies. Ships would enter hyperspace jumps only to emerge thousands of light years off course. Navigation beacons failed. Communication relays went dark. The Galactic Supremacy dismissed these as technical malfunctions, perhaps solar flares from Earth's unstable star. They had more pressing matters than monitoring a quarantined species. Commander Zixtel of the Zephyrian border fleet was the first to realize something was seriously wrong. His patrol group had been assigned to enforce the blockade around Earth's system, a task he considered beneath his station. Watching primitive humans was hardly worthy of a decorated military leader. His fleet of 12 warships maintained position just outside the heliopause, their sensors trained inward to detect any human vessel attempting to leave. What they detected instead changed everything. "Commander," his sensor operator announced, colors fluctuating with confusion. "We're reading massive energy signatures from the human system, but they're not trying to leave. They're building something." Zixtel floated to the observation deck, his tentacles undulating with irritation. "Show me." The display revealed something impossible. Where Earth's asteroid belt should have been relatively stable, there was now massive industrial activity. Structures the size of small moons were being assembled. Ships numbering in the thousands moved between construction sites, and the energy readings suggested technology that shouldn't exist. "How did they hide this from our initial scans?" Zixtel demanded. "Unknown, Commander. But if these readings are accurate, they're using some form of dimensional folding technology. They're not just building in normal space. They're building in parallel dimensions and then bringing the structures into our reality." Before Zixtel could respond, alerts screamed across his fleet. Ships were emerging from nowhere, not through hyperspace jumps but simply appearing as if they had always been there. Human ships, but not like the primitive vessels in the Supremacy's database. These were sleek, adaptive things that seemed to shift and change as they moved. A communication channel opened. The human who appeared on screen was not an ambassador or diplomat. She wore military attire, her expression calm but focused. "Commander Zixtel, I am Admiral Sarah Martinez of the Terran Coalition. You have 30 minutes to withdraw your blockade." Zixtel's colors flared with outrage. "You dare threaten a Supremacy fleet? We have 12 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy. You have emerged with barely 40 vessels of unknown capability." Admiral Martinez nodded. "You're right. 40 vessels against 12 seems unfair." She paused. "Would you prefer we use fewer?" The insult was clear, but before Zixtel could respond, one of his ships simply disappeared. No explosion, no weapons fire visible, just there one moment and gone the next. "What did you do?" Zixtel's translation carried his shock perfectly. "Your ship is safe, displaced into a parallel dimension. They'll return when you leave." "That was a demonstration, Commander. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned that the best weapon isn't the strongest one, it's the one your enemy doesn't see coming." Zixtel ordered his fleet to attack. Plasma weapons that could crack moons fired in coordinated volleys. The human ships didn't dodge. They didn't need to. The weapons fire hit them and seemed to pass through, as if the ships existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, only partially present in anyone. The human counterattack was unlike anything in Supremacy military doctrine. Their weapons didn't just damage ships. They rewrote them. Zephyrian vessels found their own systems turning against them. Navigation computers began flying ships into each other. Life support systems reversed their functions. It wasn't destruction. It was forced evolution, changing the very nature of the technology. Within 10 minutes, Zixtel's fleet was in full retreat, half his ships disabled or transformed beyond recognition. The blockade was broken, but that was only the beginning. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out. Every attempt to contain humanity failed not through superior firepower, but through unpredictable innovation. The Chronax, with their logic-based strategies, found humans exploiting chaos theory, turning mathematical certainty into unpredictable outcomes. The Luminants, masters of dimensional travel, discovered humans had mapped dimensions they didn't even know existed. The real shock came when human diplomats appeared simultaneously in the capitals of all 47 Supremacy members. Not through ships or conventional travel, but through quantum entanglement on a scale deemed impossible. Each carried the same message, delivered by Chen Wei herself, though she remained physically on Earth. 6 months ago, you denied us partnership and chose to blockade our world. You saw our requests for equality as weakness. We need you to understand something about humanity. We don't conquer through force. We adapt, we learn, and we overcome. Every challenge you present makes us stronger. The Melloran High Council demanded answers. How have you achieved this technology? Our civilizations have existed for millennia longer than yours. Chenwei's hologram smiled. You evolved on paradise worlds where survival was guaranteed. You developed technology at a comfortable pace because you had that luxury. We developed on a death world where every day might be our last. We didn't have millennia to perfect faster than light travel. We had decades. We didn't have centuries to understand quantum mechanics. We had years. Necessity didn't just mother our invention. It raised it, trained it, and armed it. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Human colonies had appeared on worlds deemed uninhabitable by every other species. Volcanic worlds, ice planets, high-gravity crushers, radiation-soaked rocks. Humans hadn't just survived on them. They had thrived, turning each hostile environment into an advantage. Where the Zephyrians needed perfect atmospheric conditions, humans used breathing apparatus. Where the Kronax required specific mineral compositions, humans adapted their biology with technology. The true extent of humanity's preparation became clear when they revealed the Ghost Fleet. Thousands of ships, hidden in pocket dimensions, waiting. Not for war, but for the moment the galaxy would challenge them. Each vessel was unique, adapted from studied alien technology but improved through human innovation. They hadn't stolen the galaxy's secrets. They had learned from them and then surpassed them. Supreme Chancellor Vexthor called an emergency session of the Supremacy Court. The same chamber that had mocked humanity now held a very different atmosphere. Fear, respect, and confusion mingled as the delegates assembled. Admiral Martinez appeared in person this time, flanked by a diverse group of humans that showcased their species' adaptability. One had cybernetic enhancements that put them on par with the Kronax. Another had biological modifications that allowed them to phase like the Luminants. Yet another seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. You challenged us, Martinez stated simply. Not with weapons, but with dismissal. You told us we weren't worthy, so we decided to show you what humanity really is. We are not conquerors. We are not destroyers. We are adapters. We take whatever the universe throws at us and we make it part of us. The Luminant delegate materialized fully for the first time in centuries. What do you want? Revenge? Domination? Martinez shook her head. Partnership. The same thing we asked for 6 months ago. But now you understand who you're partnering with. We didn't evolve on a death world by being weak. We survived by being unstoppable. Not through strength, but through will. Not through perfection, but through adaptation. Chenwei stepped forward. Every species in this room has something unique. The Zephyrians have biological flexibility. The Kronax have computational perfection. The Luminants have dimensional mastery. Humanity? We have the ability to take all of those gifts and make them our own, not through theft, but through learning, adaptation, and innovation. The vote was called again. This time it was unanimous in the opposite direction. Humanity was not just accepted into the galactic supremacy. They were offered a position on the governing council, not because they demanded it with force, but because they had proven something fundamental. As the ceremony concluded, and humanity took its place among the galaxy's species, Vexthor approached Chenwei privately. His colors were subdued, almost respectful. I must know, he asked. Was this always your plan? To be rejected and then prove us wrong? Chenwei smiled, this time with genuine warmth. We hoped you would accept us as equals from the start, but we knew you wouldn't. You had to see us as weak first to understand that our strength doesn't come from what we are, but from what we overcome. We're not the deadliest beings in the galaxy because we're the strongest. We're the deadliest because no matter what challenges us, we find a way to win. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Humanity's power didn't come from natural gifts or ancient wisdom. It came from something far more dangerous, the absolute refusal to accept defeat. They had conquered a death world, unified their species, reached the stars, and now claimed their place among the galaxy's powers. Not through conquest, but through the simple act of surviving everything thrown at them and emerging stronger. The age of humanity's isolation was over. The age of adaptation had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Reckoning. The Galactic Concordate's emergency session convened within hours of the Prometheus's awakening, a speed unprecedented in the bureaucracy's thousand-year history. Representatives from 200 species gathered in the crystal chambers of Station Prime, their voices a chaos of fear, anger, and disbelief. The human dreadnought's message played on repeat across the chamber's screens, each viewing making the reality more undeniable. Humanity's ghost had returned to haunt them. Supreme Chancellor Thane of the Altarian hegemony stood at the chamber's center, his scaled form radiating barely controlled rage. The hegemony had risen to power in humanity's absence, claiming territories and resources that had once belonged to the mysterious warrior race. Now, with proof of human survival, their entire power structure faced threat. "This is obviously a deception," Thane declared, his voice booming across the chamber. "Some pirate crew found an old human ship and restored it. They're using fear of legends to manipulate us." But even as he spoke, reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The Prometheus moved through space at speeds that shouldn't be possible, its trajectory taking it past major systems. It harmed no one, attacked nothing, but its mere presence caused panic. Stock markets crashed, military fleets mobilized, and entire populations fled from worlds in its path. The giant ship seemed to be conducting a survey, scanning everything it passed with technology that penetrated even the most advanced shields. Ambassador Yuki of the Etherian Collective, beings of pure energy who rarely involved themselves in physical matters, materialized at the speaker's podium. Their voice resonated directly in every mind present. "We have analyzed the Prometheus's energy signature. This is no pirate deception. The technology is genuine human engineering, but evolved beyond what historical records indicate. They didn't just survive the Great Silence. They advanced." The revelation sent new waves of fear through the assembly. If humans had spent 5 centuries advancing their already formidable technology in secret, what capabilities did they now possess? The question burned in every representative's mind, but none more than Chancellor Thane's. His species had built their empire on the assumption that humanity was gone forever. The hegemony's entire military doctrine, their expansion plans, their economic structure, all depended on human absence. "Then we destroy it," Thane announced, his decision made. "One ship, no matter how advanced, cannot stand against the combined might of the Concordate fleet. We eliminate this threat before it grows." Protests erupted from dozens of species, but Thane's faction held sway. Within hours, a fleet of 300 warships assembled, the fastest military mobilization in Concordate history. They would intercept the Prometheus near the Kelvar system, where gravitational conditions favored their numbers. The human dreadnought detected them long before visual contact. Another transmission, as calm as the first, broadcast across the fleet. "Concordate vessels, your aggressive posture has been noted. You are approaching a Guardian-class human vessel. Recommend immediate course correction. This is your only warning." The fleet ignored it. 300 ships, each armed with the best weapons their civilizations could produce against one ancient dreadnought. The odds seemed overwhelming. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted 17 minutes. The Prometheus didn't just defeat the Concordate fleet, it dismantled them with surgical precision. Weapon systems were destroyed without damaging life support. Engines were disabled without breaching hulls. Shields designed to withstand sustained bombardment collapsed from single strikes. The human ship moved through the fleet like a dancer, impossibly agile for something so massive, never where targeting computers predicted it would be. When the engagement ended, 300 Concordate vessels drifted helplessly in space, their crews unharmed but completely defenseless. Then came the second revelation. As rescue ships approached to recover the disabled fleet, new signals appeared across the galaxy. One in the outer reach, another in the core worlds, 3 more in the neutral zone. Dozens of human ships all awakening from hidden slumber, their Guardian protocols activating in response to the Concordate's aggression. Each broadcast the same message, creating a chorus that resonated across civilized space. Humanity hadn't left one ship behind. They had left an entire network waiting. On Station Prime, panic replaced arrogance. The assembled representatives watched in stunned silence as reports poured in. Human vessels emerging from asteroid fields, from gas giant cores, from the hearts of nebulae where they had hidden for half a millennium. Not a fleet, but a civilization's worth of guardians, all awakening at once. Ambassador Yuki spoke what everyone was thinking. They planned this. Humanity knew something would happen. They prepared for it. The truth came 12 hours later. delivered by the Prometheus itself as it arrived at Station Prime. The massive dreadnought took position exactly outside weapons range, a statement in itself. Then for the first time a human voice spoke. Not an AI, not a recording, but a living person. This is Admiral Sarah Chen, commanding officer of the UES Prometheus and ranking officer of the Human Remnant Fleet. I am authorized to speak for humanity. The chamber fell silent. After 500 years, a human was speaking to them. Admiral Chen continued, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. 500 years ago, humanity detected an anomaly at the edge of our galaxy. Something was coming, something that consumed entire civilizations. We tried to warn you, but politics and suspicion made cooperation impossible. So we made a choice. We withdrew our population to prepared shelters while leaving our Guardian fleet in strategic positions. We've spent 5 centuries preparing for what's coming. She paused, letting the implications sink in. The anomaly will arrive within 50 standard years. When it does, you will need us. Our ships, our technology, our experience fighting the impossible. But understand this clearly. We are done being your scapegoats, your convenient enemy. Your excuse for every failing. If you want our help, if you want to survive what's coming, things will be different this time. The terms were simple but revolutionary. Humanity would return to galactic society, but as equals, not subjects. Their technology would be shared in exchange for resources and cooperation. The Guardian fleet would protect all species equally, but any aggression toward human settlements would trigger immediate response. Most importantly, humanity would lead the defense against the coming anomaly, the threat they had sacrificed 5 centuries to prepare for. Chancellor Thane, his earlier bravado shattered, asked the question everyone wondered. Where are your people? Where have you been hiding? Admiral Chen's answer sent chills through the chamber. We never left. We've been here all along in places you never thought to look. Inside stars, beneath planetary crusts in the space between dimensions. We learned to hide not from cowardice, but from necessity. We've been watching, waiting, preparing. Now the time for hiding is over. Over the following days, the galaxy struggled to adapt to humanity's return. Some species welcomed them, remembering old alliances and shared victories. Others, like the hegemony, found their power structures crumbling as human technology and influence spread. But all understood one truth. The galaxy had changed forever. The sleeping giants had awakened, and with them came both hope and terror for what lay ahead. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Admiral Chen stood before the vast view screen, watching Station Prime and the assembled fleet of the Concordat. Her executive officer, Commander James Park, stood beside her, reviewing reports from the other awakened Guardian ships. All vessels report full operational status, Admiral. The fleet is ready. Chen nodded, her eyes never leaving the screen. 500 years we've prepared for this moment. Let's hope the galaxy is ready to listen this time. She opened a channel to the Concordat chamber one final time. Representatives of the galaxy, you have 48 hours to decide. Stand with humanity against what's coming or face it alone. But know this. We will not wait another 5 centuries. The Guardian fleet is active and we will protect this galaxy, with or without your cooperation. The choice, as always, is yours. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy to contemplate its future. In the void between stars, more human ships continued to awaken, their ancient hulls carrying the promise of salvation or destruction. The Titans had risen from their slumber, and reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. The galaxy had trembled at their return, but that was only the beginning. The real test, the anomaly humanity had spent centuries preparing for, was still to come. And somewhere in the darkness beyond known space, something else stirred, drawn by the sudden surge of activity, by the awakening of the Guardian fleet. The true challenge humanity had foreseen was approaching, and the galaxy would soon learn why the warrior race had chosen to hide rather than fight, to prepare rather than flee. The silent Titans had awakened, but their war had only just begun.